So yeah, we'll start really quick with, I wanted to hear how gut protocol is because some people are in week 4 of the second group. Some people have been in maintenance now for a little while. And I just kind of want to see how things are going and also let everybody know that the third group is starting on Monday, and that will be in BOD groups only. But it will, so same premise, right? We'll have a prep week. And so if you're coming out of group 2, or maybe you were in group 1 and you kind of want to revisit gut protocol, we're going to start in the same way. We're going to have our prep week. We're going to make sure we know what's going on before we fully dive in. And it'll be a place where if you're going to stay on gut protocol, like you're not going to reintroduce at this time, then you can jump into group 3. If you are going to reintroduce, then it's best to stay in group 2 and reintroduce with those instructions, because there is a certain set of instructions, a certain way to reintroduce, and see how things are going for you. So yeah, we can just kind of go around and see how it's going.
Wait, will there be in BOD group, will there be a separate group for the new group starting?
So we are going to put this new layer in the very first group. So it was called Gut Health for You Protocol, I think. Let me see. Let me make sure I see it here. So this Gut Health Protocol for You with Autumn's picture. So we will be going into that one. So it already has a bunch of files. And the reason being, and thank you for asking that, because this is important. So Autumn has been, so through the, beginning of this program, people have had questions, and some questions outside of what's laid out in the program. There wasn't a group specifically to answer those questions like there is for Portion Fix or 2B Mindset. Then they created a group that didn't go so great because there was a lot of infighting because they wanted the nutritionists and Autumn to answer the questions, but a lot of people were just answering the questions ahead of time. So what they are doing now is Autumn is taking questions that people have asked through that group, through other things. She's answering them in videos that are then getting posted in the BOD groups. So this original BOD group has all the times she's come in live. So if
How do you get into that group?
Huh?
How do you get into
we'll get you in there. I'll get you in there. When we get off the call, or Sue can even add you in, or what, when we get off call, we'll figure it out.
Thanks.
So what happens is she'll like answer a question and have these live videos in there. And because that group has existed since the beginning, it's got all those back videos. So what you can do is you can, it's not really a search, but it's like a toggle that you can do. Like if you go into it, right at the top here, there's a thing that says all posts. Let me click it. And then it'll bring up a different selection, coach posts, your posts. And if you click the live posts, oh, why does that?
Mariana, you're part of that group already.
How do I know that?
If you,
I can tag you on something.
Okay,
sorry, if you do video posts, then
video posts.
Yep. Then it's going to bring up everything Autumn has pretty much put in there. I expect to see more. It has been a little delayed. She's got about 1 a week in there right now. But so these are things that we're not able to put into the Facebook group because you can't actually take the video and share it in any way. So that's why we're bringing this third group back to this original group, because pretty much anybody who was in there has either stayed on it, moved on, right? They've done the program. That was two groups ago. And so, but the videos are in there. These files are in there to help this new group coming in. And if anybody wants to be in it, just contact your coach and we'll throw you in there so you can go through all those videos. If there is a BOD group for the second group also, which I know I think just about everybody should be in there. But that one also will have these videos, just not quite as many. If that makes sense.
Okay, I'm not really sure how to tag her because there's not a recent post.
Yeah.
Did I do
cannot tag in an autumn post. You cannot tag people to
Oh,
those.
I
Yeah.
can't. Okay.
Here, I just did the meal prep class. I'll tag her in that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I mean, but all that's gonna do is show her that she has a notification and something.
Right.
Are
But
we
it'll at
talking
least-
bod groups?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I officially now feel like
okay.
my 80-year-old
Never mind.
father.
I was looking in Facebook group. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, Mariana's not in here. So we'll need to get you added.
Okay.
We'll get you added.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
bod groups is in your bod app. If you haven't gone to a bod group before, that's where Bev hosts everything in bod groups. I host everything outside of these only two Facebook gut protocols in there. So like there's a yearly group in there. There's the gut protocol group in there. So it's a great, the great thing about bod groups, what I really enjoy is it's really super easy to log your workouts and to track what you're doing. Because if you're already in your bod app for tracking food, you can do it right there. You can track your shakes. You can track your workout right in there. It will know when you've done a workout and will prompt you to say, hey, do you want to log this workout? So that's all super easy and a place we are familiar with. So yeah. Any questions about that one? Mariana, we'll get you in there.
Longtime fan, never visited.
Longtime fan, first time listener, first
Yeah,
time caller.
basically. Yeah.
So yeah, so we'll get you in there. So that will be, starting Monday will be a new set of prep week posts. They will get pinned. But if you want to go to, I'm going to start unpinning the autumn videos so that it's not insane to get into the group. And so what you'll do is you'll just search with that top bar to go video posts. And that's where you're pretty much going to find the majority of her things. So good. Hi, Lily. Hi, Rochelle.
Hi.
Hi, Maribel. I don't think I said hi to you yet. And hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Okay, so let's talk about how everybody's doing on it.
Wait, what is Galaxy's name?
Oh, Sarah.
Sarah.
That's Sarah.
Hi,
Yeah.
Sarah.
We had to ask her when she got on too. We're like, who's Galaxy? Sounds
Who are
fun.
you? From a galaxy far, far away.
So why don't we go with some maintenance people first? Sue, are you still kind of following things or where are you at?
I'm partially, I kind of fell off a little bit last weekend, so I'm really struggling this week to get back on track. So,
Yeah.
but I'm still not doing any gluten or corn or, well, really no dairy. So I'm not really doing any of the items that we eliminated. I just kind of added a little more sugar than I
I was
should
just going
be.
to say, what does falling off look like? Is that M&Ms
Oh.
or is it alcohol?
No, my issue is not alcohol. It's probably more the candy and the cakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Mhm.
I'm working on it this week.
Yeah.
Mhm. So otherwise I'm doing good.
And then Mariana, you're done with your first 4 weeks, right? No? Okay.
You're so sweet. I'm such a hot mess, friends. It's not even funny. Like, it's fine. This is fine. Like, this is fine.
I'm
on the
fine,
wagon,
you're
off the
fine,
wagon.
fine.
But I finally got my supplements in the mail this week. So I am extremely excited to hear that there's a new group starting. So I can,
You can jump right
join
in and do
everybody.
it all
Yeah.
over again.
Yeah, now that my travel has stopped and I'm in one place, and yeah.
That's good.
I'm in maintenance. So I went into gut protocol maintenance. So meaning I go from 10 grams of sugar to 15 grams added sugar. I get to have a treat twice a week. I pretty much had alcohol once or twice a week. And then I've had the flourless chickpea brownies.
Those
as
look
my other
amazing,
treat.
by the way.
Yeah. Spread a little peanut butter on those guys, heat them up in the microwave. I mean, they are just awesome. And they're just in my freezer, which is great, right? Because I can't leave them on the counter because then it'll be like, oh, there's one of those, let's make sure they're still good. So I make
Yeah.
them, let the kids eat what they're gonna eat. And it's funny because they're kind of like, what's in it, Mom? right? And I'm like, it's fine. You've had these. It's the dark chocolate ones. There's chickpeas in it. You're going to live, right? But they still eat it. So, then I just throw them in the freezer, and then they're there. If I need something, they're 30 seconds in the microwave and they're good to go. And I feel like I get a little something, something, especially when everybody starts pulling out the ice cream, which is funny because I don't even care about ice cream, but they're eating something sweet. And I'm kind of like, oh, a little treat sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm like happy as a clam on this thing. I feel like it's like the plan I was missing. It allows me to get my plant proteins, especially coming out of the reset. It just, I don't know, it just feels right for me. And so I'm really enjoying it, and I don't see myself going off. I had a kind of a quick road trip where we ate out quite a bit, and I did have some dairy, and I had a piece of bread. And what else did I had I had alcohol, but and nothing, I knew those things were okay because I introduced them a little bit after my first 4 weeks. So even if you're going to go into a maintenance, Autumn encourages you to see, if you do add something back in, how do you react to it? And, and then go into a maintenance. The only thing I have not added is corn. So after this week, I am going to add some corn next week because I'm curious to see what results from it. But other than that, I feel like I'm pretty satisfied on this 15 grams of sugar. I pretty rarely get to it. The only exception is the days I have recover, and then I'm probably close to it because I have enjoyed adding that back in. But it's not like I feel like I need to reach for other sugary things. I feel really satisfied with the food I'm getting. And that's usually I have a pretty good sweet tooth. So that's been kind of surprising that it's going this long and I'm feeling this fine on it. Yeah, so I think this is kind of the plan I didn't know I needed. And I'm excited. This is, I think, how I'll just eat. And then like I said, when I went on this road trip, I wasn't too strict about it. I just kind of had a few things. I knew it was only going to be 24 hours. It wasn't going to be like a week of, crazy foods. And so I just had what I wanted to have. And oddly enough, I think everything I had was laden with vegetables. So I think it's just ingrained in me at this point. I don't know what's going on with me, but yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go into group 3 and keep it rolling.
So Deanna, is this something you can do for life, or do you have to tweak it a little?
No, you can. I mean, you definitely can, because you're still doing this at a 40-30-30 split, 40 carbs, 30% protein, 30% fat. It is the same as Portion Fix. So you're still at a good level for strength training, for maintaining and adding muscle. So all of those things work out well. Nutritionally, it's very sound. You're not in a deficit unless you're eating in a weight loss bracket. And so it's the same as being on a Portion Fix long-term. The only thing,
nothing taboo.
Well, I mean, I'm not having gluten or dairy regularly.
Okay.
So I guess you've still taken out those common inflammatories. Okay. So I'm not having those regularly. So if I wanted to start having those, then I just go back to Portion Fix.
Oh, okay.
And you have less treats on this, I guess, than Portion Fix. So Portion Fix, I think you get 3 in a week. This one you get 2 in a week. So that would be alcohol or something with, more added sugar. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to, the thing I like most about it is I find I really enjoy eating some of the plant-based proteins in with my regular meals. I really struggle after the reset. I loved a lot of the foods there, but I didn't want to go back to all the animal proteins, and I didn't want to be full vegan. So it's like this for me is kind of a mesh of the two. And I like that I get to have quinoa as a protein or beans as a protein. Okay. Because that way then I still feel like I'm getting the things I want. And I'm satisfied with my meals. Like I've been doing a ton of bowls. And so, I'll throw in, like, sometimes I'll tip the system a little bit, and I'll have 3 plant proteins and 2 animal proteins, where I'll do like quinoa and beans together and then still have my Shakeology. But I don't know, I just find like it kind of fits for what I needed.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely
So-
something you can continue.
So Deanna, you had isolated soy as one of
Yeah.
your sensitivities.
Which
Can
was
you
new.
talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk about that again? Because I think you talked about it once before, and like how you felt when you added that in.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so a couple years ago, this is how I knew. So I was having eggs on the regular, loved eggs. And I found I'd eat my breakfast and then I'd start being nauseous and have brain fog and just feel like I wanted to go to sleep. And I started kind of noticing it after eggs. So then I took out the eggs and it went away. And
Wow.
so then I was like, okay, I must be sensitive to eggs. So it wasn't like I wouldn't call it necessarily a full allergic reaction, right? It's nothing anaphylactic. It's nothing where I had a rash or an immediate. And to this day, I could have, like, if the kids make cookies and there's eggs in it, I can have some of that. But I notice if I have it a few days in a row, then I start to feel that way again. So when I went on this plan, I added tofu. So I had a little bit of tempeh with the reset. But other than that, I didn't have a lot of soy in my life. I did the aminos, regular soy aminos. But other than that, it wasn't like I really had it a lot. So when we started this plan, I added in tofu and I added in more tempeh. And I was still having the soy aminos instead of the coconut aminos because I was totally anti-coconut aminos because they don't taste as good. So in combination of those things, I had tofu. I made the vegan feta, which if you can eat the tofu, it is so delicious and amazing. It's the best thing to put in a Greek bowl because it's like having actual feta. It's like, I don't know, it's delicious. It's like salty and lemony and like all the oregano. Anyway, I had that 2 days in a row and felt exactly like I felt with eggs. And I was like, oh,
Oh, wow.
shoot, I'm like, there it is. And it was like literally same nausea, same brain fog, like
Wow.
put me down for the night. And it was so obvious for me. And so then I just took it 100% out. And I'm trying to think, I don't think I've had anything purposefully with soy in it, but my guess is it's going to be the same way as if I have a little bit, it's not going to be a big deal. If I have a lot or over a few days, then I'll probably feel it. Well, and then it was weird because I had lunch meat. Jess had the same thing happen. And I think maybe we talked about it last week or the week before, but I had some lunch meat and I didn't get nauseous, but I had to take a nap that day. And I haven't, see, that's the other thing. Like I used to take a lot of naps. Like I would lay down for 20 minutes and I haven't been doing that hardly at all. Once I figured out the soy again, like I rarely nap now. I have energy for the whole day.
You know, it's really interesting to me to listen to all of you following all these different things and how attuned you are to your bodies and what's going on. It's
I
like,
think this plan of all the plans really makes you tune in
Mhm.
I
in
agree
a
with
good
that.
way, not a like not a weird way, right? It's like a good way. It's a like a healthy, like checking in with yourself.
wow. Wow.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Lily?
So I said, I agree with that 100%. Like you're so in tune to how your body's feeling when you're taking out all the, the gluten and the corn and the alcohol and just how your body responds to different foods. I mean, I would have never picked up on the vodka issue that I seem to have without taking everything out first.
Right.
So it was really, and the fat, and my dairy sensitivity that I seem to have, which isn't a big deal, but I did notice that I got, more snotty and more of a runny nose when I brought dairy back into my life because I hadn't had it for a month. And so you were just that much more aware of what's going on with your body.
Yeah, the whole thing I think has been really fascinating. It's kind of like you get to learn a lot about yourself through the whole thing.
Well, and my family has been, I mean, we've been through elimination plans. By far, this one is the most simplified one that I've done. But I mean, I've taken a lot of grief because of it, because we don't eat certain things. And a lot of people are like, they just don't understand why we do it. And they think that we're being, restrictive and so on and so forth. But I mean, I look at the way people deal with chronic pain, headaches, and all sorts of issues, emotional. And I mean, you have no idea how much comes from gut inflammation and is triggered by what you're putting into your body until you go through something like this.
Yeah.
And then realize just how incredible and amazing your body is, and to continue to live a life where you're putting something into it that leaves you in that inflammatory state. I mean, you're like, I would be stupid to continue a life in that inflammatory state once knowing how incredible I can feel outside of that.
Well, and that's exactly why I want to keep going, right? Because I like having the lunch meat issue, having the soy issue, and I had a ton of acne after the soy, and it's finally starting to heal up too, which was really super annoying because my face was starting to look great. My skin was finally doing it. And then the whole soy thing was like, we'll call it Soygate. But like knowing how crappy I felt and how it would take me a day or two to get back out of it, and it wasn't even that much and it wasn't that big of a deal, just makes it so not worth it for me. So I'm like when I went on this road trip, I picked things, even if they were outside of the scope of like how we're normally eating, I picked things I knew wouldn't make me feel bad, right? Like, so I did stay away from soy. I did stay away from eggs. And I just kind of kept things in a, more neutral place, and still felt satisfied and, had a great time and that kind of stuff. But
But what did you use for protein?
oh, I had salmon one day. There was crab. I mean, I didn't suffer.
Okay.
I mean, I eat so much more salmon now and I love it.
Me
And I love that
too.
my
Like salmon too.
family eats it.
Yes. We just
Yeah.
had it tonight. Yeah, we love salmon.
Yeah, it's so good. So, it's one of those things where I think too, when you realize how great you can feel, you
Yeah,
want to keep that going.
yeah.
And that's like kind of my driving force right now. Like I would, like we stopped at a Starbucks and the entire case in my vision looked like eggs and cheese. Everything's just eggs and cheese, right? And I'm like, okay, I can't, eggs and cheese or sugar. And so it was like one of those things where I'm like, what am I even going to have? And I'm like, you know what? I'll just eat something I brought in the car. I had a beach bar in there. I had some tomatoes, some sugar snap peas, an apple. You know what I mean? I brought a few things just in case. And so I'm like, I'll just wait till I get to the car because none of this is worth
Yeah.
me not feeling good. So I'll
Yeah,
just wait.
right.
And that's really, I mean, while I think
That's
some
really
people look at it
motivation.
as restrictive, to me, that feels empowering. Like
Yeah,
I'm making that choice. I'm choosing to feel my best. So,
yeah.
and Rochelle, how are you doing on it? I know you've been feeling good.
I have been feeling good. I've kind of slipped up a little bit with eating those stinking chickpea brownies.
I know
'cause
they're
so good.
Yeah. I mean, if you're
And
going to
they're-
mess up, that's the
They're
one.
like
to
this
mess up on.
big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've eaten a couple of those the past couple nights, and I think I've overindulged in a little bit of too much maple syrup here and there, and
Yeah.
it's triggered some slight migraines. But I
Oh,
used to
that's
get-
interesting. So you could feel it with even just a
Yeah.
little bit of maple syrup. Okay.
Yeah, because I would go to bed and just feel like throbbing pain in my head when I woke up, and maybe it just might have been me lacking hydration for the day. But I'm feeling really good. I usually would have, at least 2 or 3 migraines a week.
Oh, yeah.
And then with my menstrual cycle, that was like checkpoint like that week. It didn't feel like I had my period.
That's awesome.
TMI,
Oh.
but
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
no cramps. I normally have like extreme leg pain. My legs sometimes feel numb during my period, and
Oh.
I didn't experience any of that. My period
Wow.
was less, my flow wasn't as heavy. So, I mean, I love it. I love eating this way. I love just throwing everything in a bowl. I like having all of my rice and beans and chicken cooked ahead of time. And I'm like you, I like the plant protein more than the actual animal protein. It's
Yeah.
harder for me to choke down chicken or turkey 24/7. So,
Right. Right. Yeah. It's kind of a weird place to be because it's like you don't necessarily want to be full vegan,
right.
but you know what I mean? So it's like you're kind of stuck in this weird place.
Mm-hmm. But I like it. I like all the meals, and I mean, my kids don't like all my chicken meals, but they're gonna have to live with it.
Yeah. This will be a good, your oldest is what, like, is it 7th grade or 6th?
Yeah, she's in
Okay.
7th grade. She's 13.
So this will be a great segue for her learning to cook.
Yeah,
Because that's what my kids have discovered.
he
If
likes
they
that.
don't like
Yeah.
what I make, then they
My
can say,
my son actually likes to cook more than my daughter, which is
yeah,
fun. He likes to, flip the pancakes and watch this, Mom. I'm like, just chill out a minute.
right, right. I love it. Good. And Lily, do you have anything you want to add in? I don't know if you're in a place where you can talk or not.
Yeah, I just got home actually. I got stuck in a rainstorm.
Oh, geez.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
we had it here
little,
before too.
little wet.
Your hair's getting
Um,
curly. I like it.
Yeah, well, it's because it's soaking wet.
That's what happened to wine.
Yeah, I have brought pretty much everything back into my life. But I love the bowls. Like I love how easy they are to make. And so I eat them a lot. Like they're so easy because you can put anything in them. And, you just have a ton of different ingredients in the fridge and you just throw it together and pretty much everything works together. And I find them really easy to eat healthy that way. So I've really enjoyed the bowls, and I've added, more beans into my life than I had in the past, tofu more as well. And just some of the principles from the Gut Protocol I've kept in. Like it's definitely made me more aware of how much sugar is in absolutely everything and how you really have to be careful with what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, so I've kept the basic principles of the Gut Protocol, and just tried to, stay healthy and watch my sugar intake. I had, let's see, I think 2 cups of coffee maybe this week, but for the most part, I've stuck to matcha, which, 2 months ago, I would have
Right.
said, heck no, that's not me, like never, ever. But yeah, I found that I actually really enjoyed just having something warm, and the matcha is doing it for me. So,
Perfect.
I don't need the acid from the coffee, really. Like I can totally tell when I have the coffee that the acidic, just aftertaste just totally doesn't agree with my tummy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at. I brought wine and alcohol back in, but moderation. And I don't eat a bunch of, like I had crackers over the weekend, which I don't typically have. I have my cauliflower crackers, but I had, regular crackers, and I was fine. It wasn't a big deal. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I still got to figure out whether it's the vodka, the corn, or I have to try some other vodkas to see if it's
Yeah. You
actually,
have to try a potato vodka and see how you
Yeah.
feel.
Mhm.
yeah. So but so far tequila is fine. So I'm good. So, but
Nice.
it's just weird. I mean, again, I wouldn't have noticed that
Yeah.
potential sensitivity if I hadn't been on the Gut Protocol, because I wouldn't have been in tune with my body. I just
Yeah.
would have figured, oh, it's something I ate. But I know it's not something I ate. It's something that I drank, because that was the only thing different that I put in my body.
Right.
So- Yeah.
Yeah. Sarah, I don't know how are you doing? I don't know if you want to update or not.
Yeah, so I did really, really well the first 2 weeks, and then I got sick and didn't meal plan, didn't have groceries. And so then when I was feeling better, I didn't make good choices, and went way off the wagon. And so I've been working on definitely getting back and cutting back out on things. I added back in some dairy and that's been fine. I've had barely any gluten, but mine I would definitely say is the sugar.
Yeah.
And then alcohol. And talking about stomach issues and how it makes you feel, I've always had horrible heartburn. And after that first week, it was almost gone. And so then when I started adding things back in, it's right back. So I'm hopeful to, completely clear things out again and see if I can narrow it down to if it's sugar, if it was the alcohol, that was doing it.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
I was feeling so good before I just fell off.
Yeah. Well, and it's so hard when you get sick too, and you're not
Mhm.
already in the routine. You know what I mean? Like that's the establishing the habit is critical in this, right? Because it's
Mhm.
like now it's like autopilot where you run out of rice, you make some more rice. You run out of the oatmeal, you make some more oat. You know what I mean? And you just kind of are on this, like that makes sense now versus whatever things you were doing prior, right? That was the habit.
Yeah, and my kids are young, and so they're not really on board with the eating
Right.
plan. And
Yeah.
so we still have the, comfort foods for them. That's of course what I went towards because that was there and it was easy and it was good. So just one day at a time and keep trying.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Deanna,
Don't worry,
is your
Sarah.
House,
No,
is your
no
house
shame
on
in your
fire
chicken nugget.
behind you?
No, David is he's
Oh.
got his chimney going because we're having a tri-tip. So he's gonna put it on his
Okay.
Weber with the charcoal versus the gas grill. We have like
Okay.
he has as many grilling options as I have coffee options in our house.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. It's a lot of options.
Okay, just checking.
There's like, Deanna, I think your house is on
Right?
fire.
Yeah, my hair or my
Is
hair's
there
on
something
fire
going on?
right here.
She's like very quiet about it. She's like,
Yeah, right.
I think it's on fire.
You might want to call 911. No,
Yeah.
we're good. We are good.
Yeah, that's dedication.
Right?
Sue,
So
you're-
yeah, so this is kind of a good segue into my quick topic for tonight, or we can talk about it for the rest of the time. I don't know how long it'll take us, but I did want to hit on, so earlier today when we were on a Zoom for our workouts, we were talking about lifestyle versus diet. And I want to talk about that lifestyle mindset versus the diet mindset. And it's hard to talk about diet because diet in general, right, just means the way you eat, but now it means like a plan, like you're on something restrictive or you're on something that's different. And so we'll use it in those terms because I don't know if I have a better term to call it, but I look at when you start a plan like this, likely you're going into it as if it's like a diet, right? It's something that's a finite amount of time, or it's going to get you to this goal. And when you look at lifestyle, it's infinite, right? It's just how you're going to be from here on out. So what I think happens too, sometimes we get in this mode of, I have this goal, so I'm going to do this thing for this finite amount of time to get to this goal. And sometimes we look at that goal and think, I can't do other things, or I can't be, for lack of better words, I can't be happy until I get to this thing. I can't do these things until I get to this goal. Like this goal is the only thing that matters. And once that happens, then everything will be fine. Right?
Yep.
Versus a lifestyle, you're figuring out how things work, how you work, how it fits in. And it's a lot more loose. A lifestyle feels like something that even if it's not great today, it's still something you're going to keep doing for the long term. So I feel like maybe you beat yourself up a little less, right? Because you're in this mindset of, okay, today may not have been my best day of eating, but this is how I eat now. So tomorrow will be a better day. right? Whereas maybe a diet, you're kind of like, I've got this certain amount of time and I've got to hit this goal by a certain time. And so if today doesn't go good, then I'm set back, right? Like I can't, I'm not going to make it, or I'm not making it. And so I know I just want to talk about these different mindsets, because I think it's critical how we look at what we're doing and how we think about what we're doing it in relation to how successful we are at doing it. Because if you look
Can I
at it,
interject
like-
something? But like,
with-
I just wanted to interject. I know that you should make it whatever, a lifestyle, but doesn't it have to start with a plan, like a diet, for a better word, because you need a plan, because you don't, like, you might know more than I do, or like somebody who's just doing their first diet in their life, whatever. They know it has to be a lifestyle, but they need something to follow. So that's what the diet is, right?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I feel like I'm on a lifestyle and I'm still following a plan.
Okay.
So
You're
I
not
think,
calling it a diet, you're calling it a plan.
right. This is just how I eat. And I might like, I do track every day still right now. And I may get to a point in this where the tracking becomes more loose, but I don't think the lifestyle necessarily means you're off the rails, right? Like, or you're not knowing what's going in, or you're not tracking, or you're not following a plan. It's more that you're in a mindset of this is just how I'm doing things long term. And I see what you're saying, right? Because when you initially start something, you're probably going to be in a calorie deficit because you do want to lose weight, or you want to change something. You have a goal in mind. With a diet, I feel like sometimes you're only doing those things to lose the weight, right? Whereas in a lifestyle, you can still be in a calorie deficit and follow a plan, but those are things you can continue on 4 months from now, a year from now. It becomes just part of how you naturally eat and do, right? Just like a lifestyle would be moving every day, not just exercising for a certain, like say you're in a bodybuilding competition and you just exercised for the bodybuilding competition, but then when the competition was over, you're just done, right? That would be like a diet.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas a lifestyle is, I'm just going to move every day and I'm going to go to this competition, but after the competition's done, I'm still going to keep moving my body, because it does look like my house is on fire, because my body is, because moving my body feels good, right?
Yeah.
Moving feels good. And that's part of what I want to do every day. So it's funny because I feel like I have some like almost euphoria on this plan where I'm like, I feel so good. I look forward to my vegetables. I look forward to these bowls I'm making. I look forward, I feel like I get to eat this, right? Not, oh my gosh, another salad, or I have to eat chicken today. I can't eat steak, or I can't eat this. And so I think all of that flows into a mindset. And it's, don't get me wrong, I'm now 12 years in the making of changing my mind about my lifestyle and about what I do. And it all started with my thought of, I'm going to make everything from scratch, because that will get me started on good food. And that was literally it. I'm going to walk in my neighborhood. I'm going to make everything from scratch. So even if I want cookies or I want cinnamon rolls, great, but you have to make them from scratch. So it can't be anything quick that you can just throw in your mouth, right? And that's literally how I started, how I lost the weight, and then found Beachbody later, but and then continued on those same kinds of principles of just looking at it as I get to, versus this is what I'm doing because of how I look or because of how I feel about myself. And it's it takes people longer to get to these places, right? And it all depends on where you start. But I really feel like the success of you feeling good about you depends on the mindset you have about it. And whether or not you're doing something you're willing to carry on long term. Yeah.
I think the other thing is, for me, the big difference between a diet and a lifestyle is if you are at a caloric deficit or a macro deficit, long term, you have a very good chance of causing damage to your body if you continue with that long term. So
Right.
to me, that is the definition, and that's the dividing line for me based upon a diet and a lifestyle. I cannot maintain my life long term if I'm only eating 900 calories, if I'm only eating 1,000 calories. I would fall out after a very short amount of time. I would not be able to sustain life.
Right.
That
But
is
how would you lose the weight if you
Well,
don't, got no
the
deficit?
difference is you go into caloric deficits for periods of time. So like, say you're doing portion fix, you go into a weight loss bracket for a 3-month period of time. You work on that weight loss. Then you go into a maintenance bracket for a little bit. You let your body, come back, enjoy those calories, be the same weight. And then
Can't you put the weight back on?
no, not in a maintenance. In a
No?
maintenance plan, you should stay the same because you're maintaining
Oh.
the calories you're burning.
Oh,
And and depending on how you're lifting, even if you're eating a little more, you shouldn't necessarily put the weight back on, but you might be able to add some muscle.
I
So
haven't been.
there's, yeah, yeah, exactly.
I'm eating over my calorie deficit, or I'm eating one up from my maintenance because I fall into
That gets all the A category.
fall into the thing. So with Gut Protocol, I have been eating above, and I have not gained. I have lost. At one point, I was down 6 pounds. Midweek, I'm now only down like 2 pounds, but by Saturday, I might be back down to 6 pounds again, because really, in reality, your body goes through like a process. If you really want to know your exact weight, you really need to measure like this day, this month, and exactly that day, the next month. That is your best basis upon where you truly are. But so if you're measuring yourself on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you're ebbing and flowing, that's going to happen because it's the way your body naturally ebbs and flows. And especially if you're doing workouts and stuff, like right now, today, I actually have soreness in this last week of the 4 weeks for everybody workouts. And so I know I am retaining fluid, because if you're sore, that's what you do. You're retaining, fluid and stuff. So, so though I'm up a couple of pounds, I'm still not over the amount that I initially started at. So I still have lost.
Right. And if you did your measurements, you'd likely be the same, or you could even be less on that too. That's it. That's why we always talk about taking measurements.
Correct.
So you're saying, Bev, that you should be weighing yourself at the same time, same date of every month, like each month, not every day.
You compare like week 1 to week 1, week 2 to week 2.
Yeah. To get the actual, to get to where you really are, that is the best.
And you
Yes.
technically go by your cycle. So you go by like the first week of your cycle, that's like your weighing comparison to the first week of your cycle the next month.
Right.
Because that's kind of how you base it.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because your body
That's
goes.
even better than once a week weighing in?
Well, you could still weigh once a week, but you're not comparing it to
Right.
the last week, because that could be a totally different hormonal change.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just talking like scientifically. I mean, you can track it whichever way you like to, but I mean, especially if you're somebody who beats yourself up, if you do ebb and flow, then I would not be stepping on the scale.
Yeah, that's me.
100% agree. Like I think I lost 3 pounds in my first 4 weeks. And then this time I think I'm right around 161 again, which is roughly where I started. But I'm eating a bracket above also. But I'm still the same leanness. Like I'm still like my clothes fit the same as they did back in the first 4 weeks. So, you know, it really, I think it depends on what's driving too. Like I'm right now all about adding muscle, and like on Monday, I'm going to start lift 4. So I'm really excited to see what eating in C does for me for lifting heavier weights. And it's been great during the 4 week for everybody because you had strength training 3 days a week without the inflammation of jumping. So I'll be interested to see what it's like bringing in a regular program and how that goes.
You're making me, I should try that, because that was hands down when I had the best like muscle definition gain.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
I can't wait because my best ones were MBF and 80-day obsession. But see, when I did lift 4, I was not very strict on my nutrition plan. I was just kind of eating whatever. So, I mean, eating whatever and whatever I eat, right? It still wasn't all that bad. But yeah.
When I lift 4, I did I was following Portion Fix, and so but I mean, like 1 day a week, unlike Portion Fix, I ate whatever I wanted to eat. And
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I still don't eat gluten. I won't eat gluten if I know that gluten is in it. And I will do my best to find out if gluten is in something, and I will avoid it if I don't know that it's not gluten-free. So that's just me. But I would have during the summer, and we would go to Six Flags, and we had a meal pass, and I would get their nachos, so tons of scientific cheese, whatever that mystery meat is that stuck on top of those nachos, and sour cream and jalapenos and some more shredded cheese on top of that.
Right.
And then I would also have like a triple scoop ice cream all in the same day, or I would have margarita. And so it's like and every single week I had that, but the other 6 days I ate Portion Fix style.
Wow.
And I lost and I saw the most muscle definition. Plus I listened to the trainer for the first time ever and actually added in Recover after every workout. And I feel like that was the game changer on top of it, was that I was giving my muscles the, everything that both Energize and Recover are designed to help aid in that process.
Yeah. So your workouts were probably even better, right? Your muscles are fueled from Recover to go back into another workout and kill it. And of course, Energize makes you want to power through a workout.
Right. And I don't even know that I really did a 5th workout. Like if I did, it was like stretching.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and if you're lifting to the program, right? If you're following how they want you to do the program, you don't have to add other things in. Lifting 4 days a week is plenty. That's the beauty of
But
Lift4,
then
right?
there's people like Lily and I who like to lift 7 days a week.
You guys like your dopamine hit of your workouts, and that's totally fine.
I needed your,
Please give me more.
It's
I
totally
needed your
fine.
support in that, Lily. Sorry.
No. Throw me under the bus. Totally cool.
Yeah, I know.
I
Hey, I just wanted to add about the
better.
gut protocol. I've been reading a lot of the comments online as well. And the gut protocol is not a weight loss program. That's part of some of the results you do result in losing some weight, but it's more to find those sensitivities to the food that we're eating. Correct me if I'm wrong, Deanna. And a lot of us did lose weight on it, but that the program was not set up as a weight loss program. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too, because yes and no, because I do have reset. The ultimate reset is always used as a weight loss, even though
Right.
it is not intended to be a weight loss at all. I do feel like she set up the possibility for weight loss because of using the brackets, and that you could eat in a weight loss bracket. But I totally agree with the other piece of what you're saying, right? Is the first priority of gut protocol is your gut health and getting in food, figuring out what works for you, figuring out, how to heal your gut so that you are getting the most nutrient absorption as you're putting things in, having your microbiota be as healthy as it can be. So you are getting all the benefits of the food you're putting in. And a lot of people go into these programs with, just like weight loss, right?
Mhm.
And I hope they don't lose sight of how they're feeling during it, because that's so critical. And I think that's what a lot of us have found in these last 2 rounds, is just how good you can actually feel. And like, now that's my driving force, right? Whereas if I was just focused on what my body was looking like, what my number was, all of that kind of stuff, I may have missed how great I feel. And maybe I wouldn't feel as great because I'd mentally be like, I'm not dropping weight fast enough, or I'm not doing this enough. But I really feel like your body regulates itself when it's given the chance.
Mhm.
And, that was the other, so we've been talking too about Fiber Fueled. That's the book written by, I don't know how to say his last name, Dr. Will. He's the gastroenterologist that I believe a lot of our program was referenced on, used for. Autumn's been on his podcast and stuff. And he really talks about, like, in his plan, it's basically intuitive eating. He does not set calorie limits. He does not set macros. All he says is if you're eating whole plant foods, you won't be overweight, because the process of you chewing your foods, taking in that entire plant, the time it takes, like we've all experienced, if you did the ultimate reset, how long it takes to eat one of those salads. It's like a half hour, right? So by the time you're through that half-hour salad, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm good. Your body has had time to be like, yep, I've had enough food, I'm no longer hungry. Whereas when we're putting in calorie dense foods, right? Easy, fast foods, foods that we're not having to chew a lot, you can get a lot more calories in before your body has a chance to be like, oh, whoa, we're good. We're done. Everybody's full. Time to stop. And that's a huge difference. So like, that's part of this lifestyle, right? Thing, right? Like, yeah, I'm going to be cutting up my vegetables and I'll be doing some of that stuff. But I also like am back to it's like your body resets now to a point where it knows I've had enough. And it's a really interesting thing, because we're in such a fast society of just downing stuff. And we've kind of taken away our body's chance to say we've had enough. So
Right.
anyway, I thought that part of his book was really fascinating, because I was like, wow, that's so true.
Mm.
Is he a vegan, do you know, or is he?
He is now. He is
He is.
100% plant-based now. His goal in his book is for people to be 90% plant-based. And I don't know what that would put us at with our 3 animal proteins, because it's only the reds that would have animal protein, right, in our plan.
Mhm.
So that could put us close to 90%. I don't know. There's a lot of similarities in things. More so though, that our plan is geared toward complementing workouts, right? He talks, about walking each day or doing whatever you're going to do, but it's not necessarily matched up with an activity level. So, yeah. And the book is good if you want to listen to it. It's just really, really full of data and studies. So it depends on how you feel about all the exact terms and all the ASEs, the lipase, the amase, all the, different terms he uses. It can be a little bit overwhelming during the book, but
I think I failed biology, so probably not a good book for me.
it's definitely one I'll need to listen to again.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure I did not catch it all, because it's like he'll say a word and then I'll be trying to remember the word and then I'll miss like the next 10 sentences or whatever.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Not struggling to, but no, I mean, like, That sounds.
It's a very detailed book. It's very, I mean, it's good. And if that's the kind, I mean, it's a great listen, especially if you like to hear about studies. Like I felt like Sean Stevenson's book was also the same kind of thing, right? A lot of studies, a lot of science to back up what he was saying, and Eat Smarter and
Right.
whatever the other one was, is it Sleep Smarter?
Sleep smarter.
Sleep smarter.
So yeah, all good things.
I have to agree with what Sue said, is that even though it's not a weight loss, the gut protocol is not a weight loss plan. I mean, I ate more food on the gut protocol than I ever have in the past, and I still lost 6 pounds.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not set up to be a weight loss plan, but it's still, for me, it was.
Yeah.
So, and the energy is through the roof, and just so many more benefits to. I mean, I didn't do it to lose weight. I did it because I was curious about which foods I might be sensitive to, and so.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really interesting, those results.
Bye, Mariana.
Take a
Should we
picture.
have picture before you leave?
Picture. Geez, Lily's
Take a
gonna get
picture
me on the
before
picture.
You leave, Mariana?
Okay, are we ready? Oh, hang on. Try to get everybody's cheese. I gotta get somehow. I should turn the camera
I'll
here.
see you ladies next week.
Have a good night.
All right,
Bye,
so
Mariana.
You too.
I'm gonna go too. Good
So-
night.
Bye, Kathy.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Kathy.
It's
Bye,
great.
Kathy.
I love this group. I just love this group.
We love you too.
And Sue, I want to tell you, you look glamorous with your hair up.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you look just like ready for the runway.
Oh,
I love
thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Yeah, so does anybody have any other questions? Anything?
I'm curious
I'm-
if anyone did any of like the genetic testing or the things you can send in for food sensitivities to see if it matched up.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Yeah, because it's like I feel like I've heard both sides of this. Like some people think it's amazing, and then some people think that it's really dependent on what you've already been eating, and so it's not very complete.
It depends on your test also, but yeah, I mean, like the test that I did was not one of those. I mean, granted, it was mailed by my doctor to a testing facility. I believe they're out of Texas. And if I looked for my paperwork, I could tell you it was a very expensive test. They took multiple vials of blood. My son and I did them both. They test the blood over multiple days to determine your level of sensitivity, because just because you have, it's one, which most of the things, they just do one blood test and that's it. And that really doesn't give an accurate measurement, but still, depending upon what your diet has been, you can have sensitivities or you can have readings of sensitivities of certain foods just because you've been eating more of a certain type of food.
Right.
So, but whereas so my son, he came back very positive on all dairies except for goat cheese. And he had not eaten dairy in a year. So by that information, it was hands down, keep dairy out of your diet forever and ever and ever. Amen. And don't try to put goat cheese in there and be fancy and think you're going to get away with it, because there's a good chance that then that would trigger goat cheese to be on that list too.
Yeah.
It does not like that. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
and Sarah, since you're in a medical place, you may have access to some, I don't know that I'd do the mail-in, like the Everly, or I just think, what I mean? If you really want something comprehensive, I think I'd have your doctor go through or have a specialist.
Yeah. I was just curious if any of it lined up or if it was worth it or not.
it has lined up for us. For us household, it has. I out, I did test positive on gluten, and that was causing me brain fog issues. And then coffee, I tested positive on, and that was something that when I would drink coffee, I would feel very edgy, and I would just feel like my skin was crawling all the time. I couldn't, I wish that I could take the inside of and just remove it. Like it was like, just get this out of me. But I just had to like live through the moment and live through the time. It sucked so bad because I loved coffee. I used to drink a pot and a half a day. So, and then, yeah, my son, he actually, so since I've been on gut protocol, he had a cold, and we take Cold Calm. It's from the same company that Boiron. It's the same one that does oscillococcinum for flu. But what I didn't pay attention to was that there's lactose in those tablets.
Oh,
And had cleared up in, the time that we had been doing this program for, like, it had been a week and a half, and then he got this cold. Started giving him this, and I'm like, why are you all of a sudden breaking out again? And I looked at the box, and I'm just like, I could have like shot myself, because it's just another one of those things you don't think about, like, oh, you're gonna put crap in this, homeopathic remedy, but I mean, and for most people it doesn't cause an issue,
right.
but it did. And then I got him off of it, and it has cleared his system, and now his skin is clearing up again. But that was the biggest reason why he did the gut protocol, was to see his skin clear up. And then to have that happen, it was like it was like a sucker punch. I felt so bad. And yeah, so
Yeah.
but yeah. Yep. So it does line up to it if you get a good one.
Yeah. I'd go through your doctor to do it.
Yeah. And I will say that the one that I did, I want to say it cost us like at least $300 a piece. And it actually cost more than that, but the lab that does it, as long as you pay the upfront amount, they don't take you to collections. But
Nice.
if they bill you for more, they're able to then do something on their end in their taxes
Yeah.
to get something. I don't know. I don't even care. All I cared was that I didn't end up having to pay. I want to say it was like $1,000. And when I got that, they told me, the doctor's office said, okay, you're going to get a bill, and it's going to say that you still owe this amount. Unless it is this color of a bill, you're fine. I'm like, okay. And sure,
Okay.
like, okay. And it never went to collections or anything. So, but what did you say? Oh, yeah, they did say ignore it. I thought he looked at, oh, we have the lab that it went through. Yeah, if you could get it, that'd be great. Because then she could ask her doctor he thinks it's right up there in the closet. We keep it. Oh, it is. That's exactly what it is. It's Genova Labs.
Genova. Okay.
Genova Labs with a G. Are they?
Thank you.
Oh, he's still looking. But yeah, and yeah, if you can get that one done, that it's a really good one. And they test for everything. They even test for your pollens and danders, and like spices. Like I found out I do have a slight sensitivity to cumin and sesame, so I don't have those as often. And in fact, for a long time I just didn't have them. I just eliminated it, which when you're going through like pre-made spices, but a lot of pre-made spices have sugar in them.
Yeah.
So
And
you end up,
I wonder how many have some weird filler in them, it's just like,
yeah. So we make a lot of our own stuff. Like I don't have a whole lot of, it's Genova Diagnostics. That's
yeah,
what it is.
Autumn now has a ton of rubs and spice recipes, so you can just make your own. Like I love her Cajun one. It's so good. And you get to determine how spicy you make it, which is nice too, because I don't make it with a lot of spice. And so then everybody in the house can tolerate.
Mhm. It's out of Asheville, North Carolina. So I was wrong. It's not out of
Oh.
Texas. Yep. Genova Diagnostics. But yeah, so
All right. Well, any other questions? Concerns? I was telling Sue about my new pasta. So
Oh,
this
yeah,
one's
what
made
is it?
from yellow peas. So it's let's see here. So a 2 ounce is a normal serving size, not our serving size, but normal on the box. It's got 12 grams of protein and 35 carbs, 7 grams of fiber. So that's pretty sweet. And then 1 total sugar just from the peas. So it's whole yellow peas with the skin. And I was telling her it's like this one marketed that it's like the same texture as regular pasta when it's cooked. And I would say it's pretty darn close. It's probably the closest I've had to a regular pasta. When you eat it by itself after it's cooked, it does have this interesting, like, I wouldn't say it's a pea flavor. It's like it's almost like black pepper to me, a little bit in it. But then when I've had it with a sauce or anything else, I don't notice it at all. So
Interesting. I'll have to look
Yeah.
for something like that.
and they have it on Amazon, but I just shipped it from the company because they had like a free shipping thing. So I wanted to try it.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Hmm.
I think I need to start sitting up at the bar again so I don't have the. the
I gotta off.
What?
I have to leave. I
All
have to go
right,
get-
yeah, we'll end the call anyway.
Yeah, I'm
Good
gonna
to
jump
see you,
off
Lily.
as well.
All right, you
Thank
guys
you,
will have a good night
guys.
tomorrow. Eric Thompson will be on the workout call, the workout Zoom, and we're all doing Jared's ride at 10. But feel free, even if you're not working out or you're not doing the ride, feel free to jump on and say hi to Eric if you want to. I think it's gonna be super fun. Hopefully he's on there. It was really fun last week when Jared came on and worked out with us. And then tomorrow is Rainbow for Funky Friday, and Sunday is the meal prep class. So all that information's in the groups. If you have any questions, just let me know, and that'll be 11 a.m. Pacific. So yeah,
Awesome.
Looking forward to it.
we'll have some good
Yeah.
food. I'm looking forward to the fruit dip.
I'll be
Mhm.
making stuff in spirit. It's my daughter's birthday, so.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Aw.
enjoy that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, have fun. Bye,
See you guys
guys. Thank
later.
you.
See you later.
Bye.
Have a great night.
If we-